Hey guys, welcome to our review of Kamen Rider 01, episode 19. It'll be right in the title. As always, I'm your host of Frozen Stratos. Here with me today we have...
Cinder Blaze.
And Makotoa.
Welcome back. We got done watching this episode yesterday so that you guys could comment on it. And we'll respond to them in this review. So, first off, it is episode 19. First off, let's just head into our thoughts. I had a good time with this episode.
Yeah, I love how, the filler episodes, because, even though this isn't a filler episode, it kind of felt like one. They always have something relevant to do with the relationship between the human gears and humans. You know, for this one, it kind of tackled
automation,
automation and what it means to have a home.
Yeah, that was actually really touching and very tragic, even for the antagonist guy.
I don't know why they moved so quick on this, because it felt like, you know how the last bit was a two-parter? I felt like, oh, we're going really quick. This must not be a two-parter then. But then it was, so I feel like we should have had more time to, I don't know, see this guy as a villain, and then in the next episode, humanize him, and then slightly redeem him at the end.
I felt like he turned a little bit, he turned evil a little bit too fast for me, but, that's just how the premise is right now, because they're getting corrupted by whatever's messing with them.
Yeah.
So I'll forgive it. It just kind of felt a bit too much because we just sympathize with him. It not too much. Just like the whiplash, which I think was on purpose. So I'm a little bit okay with it, but I was really liking him, and then the way they just kind of make me feel really bad, and the way he just treats the human gear utter trash.
Yeah, that was the thing, because you're definitely sympathizing him when you see him as a child having to share a single room place with 12 other people, and then he just goes around and treats her like nobody treats people like that.
Yeah. Here, let's put this flag in your back and walk you around because that's all you're good for. Jesus, man.
Yeah.
That's the part, because that came out as some evil part of his brain.
Yeah.
Who hurt you?
Yeah,
the whole thing about automation, all that stuff. I understand him being upset because he kind of grew up in poverty, and if they're taking his job, of course he's gonna be taking offense to that.
Yeah,
but yeah, your job is strapping a flag to your back and advertising shit.
It's funny to me that we have the villain in his his cream-colored vest, and he's like, you wouldn't be doing anything immoral, would you? And then, the guy's like, oh, no, and it's he leaves, and it's like, oh, yeah, I'm totally trying to make him do something immoral. Just so that I can,
I feel to the point that the last episode, the episode before this, him finding out, oh, hey, you screwed up, we gotta fix this.
Now
I
it's
feel
on
that
my
was
name.
I feel like that was just a calculated move to make it so that 01 or that Aruto thought that this was sort of on the up and up.
Mm-hmm.
It's
weird because I feel like he's supposed to be because his goals. It's weird because it's conflicting with his goals. He's trying to say, yeah, we want humans to not be surpassed by the robots. And I'm going to prove it because it's my machinery that's going to help us, evolve as humans. But then, if you have to do this by underhanded means and whatnot, isn't that defeating the purpose of it? I don't know.
Yeah, if your product is not actually accomplishing what you want it to accomplish, then it does defeat the purpose, and you are not meaningfully advancing human. Evolution. But on the other hand, it's maybe he thinks human gears aren't the way to go, and it's some sort of perversion that's pushing them forward, so he has to go through these underhanded means to lift up humanity instead.
Okay. I don't know. I feel with the human gears, their growth is kind of positive, where the humans, even though they are better, like they kind of deteriorate in some aspects, which I don't know. There's that, but we can like go into that as much as possible. What do you guys think about like the human gear and like what is it? The human with like little earpiece? Because oh man, I really felt the charisma off that dude this episode.
Oh yeah.
I was not feeling the charisma, which was why that like once we went into the backstory, I was like, oh wow, okay, this guy's all right. Like I did not feel too much sympathy for him. Like he felt a little sleazy at the beginning.
Charisma was there, but it was a sleazy charisma. It's not like I like
real estate dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's why I didn't
Uh-huh.
feel it, you know, because it does feel so forced and very foreign.
Mm-hmm.
Arrogant.
A little bit, yeah.
I kind of felt like that arrogance kind of like flowed like really well with him, and the way when he starts like putting her down, when he says like her smile was like so fake,
you cheered.
Oh my god, like that was like a light bulb like lighting up.
I was
like,
wrong.
There was a reason I didn't like that character. It was her smile. It just looked so freaking weird, even though that was her whole shtick. And like she kind of just like shatters that fast. She can't even smile, and she looks like a regular person. Thank God. But like, it's just that was I just like that. That was my entire reason for bringing up this conversation.
Yeah,
I just wanted to bring up that point.
I still felt bad for her, even though her smile was awkward.
Yeah.
Well, like, very sweet.
Yeah, she was still very charismatic, and her motivations for wanting to give people homes was really nice.
Mm-hmm.
There was also that other human gear dude that was the maintenance dude that just sort of showed up.
That was weird.
I don't know. I don't really even have many talking points other than to mention that he exists, and it was on screen. I don't know where I'm.
Is this a significant actor in Japan? Like, does he have some kind of like fame? Because they kind of leaned into it almost like he did.
Yeah.
Like, it's me, look at me. I mean, he did look like he had giantism or something like that, you know, with how tall he was and just some of his facial features that kind of comes into play with that kind of
They're also
condition.
In Japan. He could just be normal sized.
Oh no.
Okay.
Like, I felt like at least he kind of like fulfilled like that zany character type that some comedians have in Japan. So that's what I thought it was. Also, he's just a carpenter. Human gear. Like, just to establish that we have one, just like we have people maintain satellite.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
It's like, oh, by the way, we got one of these.
I'm the guy that does this, and now I'm going to fix your problems.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah.
Speaking of problems, 01 did not have a good day this episode. Like, just getting his ass handed to him.
Yeah,
like,
he hasn't really.
Oh, you know, I do kind of want to expound on a point that I sort of came to during that fight. And it was when you said something like, oh, yeah, why would he turn into Shark? Like, he's not even here to fight. And I was like, you're right. He's not here to fight.
He's here to swim.
No. He's not here. What's the Zaya dude's name? Thouser. Yeah, he's not here to fight Thouser. He's here to incapacitate the squid human gear. And we know that because in the squid episode, that was the progress key he used to defuse that situation. So him transforming into that shows his intent. He's not here to fight other people. He was here to, you know, help the public, and I feel like that's very indicative of his character. And that action showed sort of his motivation in a very subtle way, and I liked it. I did not realize that until you had questioned it.
Or they might just want to hold off on Assault Hopper.
No, I honestly, Well, yeah, maybe that. I just think that, I mean, it had a connection earlier. That suit had a connection to that fight earlier. So
Yeah, I actually didn't notice that at first.
Yeah,
Though that's pretty neat.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys
Also,
have? Oh,
very important point.
yes.
Izu could now be angry. She made angry face.
Oh yeah, I thought it was a
a
malfunction. She was like,
That is all, but yeah.
a steady evolution of her character or something.
That's right. Let's dig into these comments, both of which are from Double the Unknown. He says one thing
Double
I
the
really like.
comments.
Double the comments, yeah.
Twice the pride, double the fall. Double the Unknown says one thing I really like about this show is that each writer has their own motivations, and the story allows for the contrasted motivations to stand out so that they occasionally fight each other, like Yua and Pua fighting last week. I get that some people prefer to see the writers all working together like in Sentai, but when multiple writers were made a staple to the franchise in early Heisei, they may have fought together against a common enemy, but often never truly saw the other writer's new view. Think Kaito and Kota from Gaim. A theory I come up with after watching this episode is that maybe the arc isn't always going to be evil. The Magir in this episode seemed less like a monster and more like a child throwing a tantrum. This story arc is showing that Humagir are becoming closer to being like humanity through negative emotions. The first arc was about positive emotions. So maybe the show is going to end up dealing with finding a balance in emotions. After all, we are shown that humans have negative emotions and can become quite monstrous too. Plus, the assault forms use the power of the arc. So, the show has already shown that the arc can be beneficial and not just for malicious use.
Huh. I actually didn't know that the assault forms got their power from the arc.
Yeah, the assault
that.
wolf that was printed from.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, so it was a villain's device, and so it was printed by the art. Okay, that's what you mean.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I really like the setup, especially with Zero One, Fua, Yaiba all being like different like factions.
Yeah.
Faust was a little bit like weird because like he and Yaiba are on the same side, but it never really feels like their writer forms are on the same side because they haven't ever been like a cohesive unit. They're just like Bowser's there to like sell Bowser toys, and Yaiba's just there because like why not? Like just in case we need someone to lose a fight, they just bring her in. Like,
Oh my god!
I'm gonna keep bringing it up until she wins one. Like,
Oh man,
we're almost 20 episodes in. It's ridiculous.
She gets a power up so early in the show, and then still loses all the time.
I wouldn't say it's a power up. Everyone just has different forms, and she just had a different form.
Yeah, but like my issue with like it in this show, like it's a small gripe, but there's nothing significant that they can like tangibly accomplish with them being on different factions. Like it's just something that's gonna randomly like pop up, and then maybe just Fua's a little bit closer to the power up that week, because like their end goal is usually always the same.
Yeah,
like,
I do appreciate like they're not at each other's throats, and I don't think there's been enough playful banter between them that like when push comes to shove, they'll help each other, and they've got each other's backs.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe not, or Yaiba maybe not, but you know.
I
No, I
mean, even
like
her,
push comes to shove. Yeah. I feel like they'd all form a cohesive unit. It's just I mean, like they don't all live together. They all have different jobs. Like that.
Yeah.
It's how it happens. They're friendly to each other.
Also,
They
when
do
push
these
comes
group.
when push comes to shove, they'll also fight each other as well. Like
Yeah.
that's one thing that I also wanted to see, that like Fua was always making those threats, you know. He's like, I'm watching you, you know, if you cross me, I'm gonna actually fight you. And they were. And then Thals was just like, nah, I'm like 10 times more powerful than you.
Oh my goodness.
Out of here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, and because of like that whole like interaction, we can't really have any like significant fights between the two like just yet. And we have to just like sit around and wait for another power up before we can have like, you know, just so we can get the control out of Thouser's hands, basically. And he's not doing anything with the plot right now. He's just kind of like, not like making a sit through filler because it's still like somewhat relevant, but it's not like it's really like pushing it all too much in any direction.
We're going pretty slow through it.
Yeah, like Hirobi's kind of like in that dungeon, and I feel like he has the most like agency when it comes to the plot, but he's just kind of handicapped right now.
He's not really given much information. It's slowly leaking out, and then we keep seeing flashes of some woman in a hoodie.
It's a woman's voice, but like
there's definitely Jin in there.
That's what I keep thinking.
Like a trans woman, like I saw an Adam's apple. That was a dude, or it could just be like, oh hey, we need someone in to wear this, and we'll ADR it later. But we just need someone. So could you? Yeah, all right, cool. I don't know.
Funny.
I don't know where this is.
Who knows?
But they're robots, right? They could modulate their voice.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It could be a voice disguise.
Yeah.
Like I'm just thinking it's like the Green Arrow where he makes that stupid voice so people don't find out who he is. And
he presses the titty and he's like yeah. It's very this is weird tangent, but it's very funny that they didn't like make an actual button. He just sort of presses his chest whenever he wants to like communicate with anyone. I thought that was funny. Anyway, because it like indents like a balloon, and it anyway. You guys have anything else you wanted to say about this episode?
No, I'm good.
Great. All right, so guys, thanks for watching. If you like this episode, hit that like button and subscribe if you want to hear more from us each week. Tell us in the comments down below what you thought about our thoughts, about your thoughts. And as always, keep it juicy.
Yep. See ya.
Later.
So did you watch the watch along or that bit of the watch along?
Who, me?
Alex. He was grabbing it. It was from Ryu Soldier.
Oh. I was just that was right there.
Actually, it was before we started watching it.